All right, joining us now, she's the new Athletes Unlimited champion. Was, of course, a four-time All-American at Florida. She is one of the best hitters in the world, playing on the U.S. national team. But again, more recently, Athletes Unlimited champion Amanda Lorenz joining us here on In the Circle on D1 Softball. She's also a softball podcast host, co-host at D1 Softball Pod. We'll get to that later. But how does the title AU champion sound?
Weird and wild. I'm still in shock, I think, but definitely really cool and super thankful.
What you joined this list? Kat Osterman 2020, Alicia Ocasio 2021, Deja Mulipula 2022, and Odyssey Alexander. That's the list you have joined. When I mention those names, what comes to your mind?
Great humans, but really cool to be alongside them and be the second position player is really cool too.
Did it feel like at times it was the Gators Unlimited there? Because Ocasio's trying to chase you down. You got Skylar Wallace. What's it like as you got people trying to chase you down?
Yeah, I don't know that I was like really feeling that as much. I was just trying to help my team win. So the whole season, my biggest thought was winning softball games. And then as captain, it was trying to put my team in the best position to win softball games to help everybody get the points. I'm not just worried about me. So I think that just definitely diving into the team aspect helped a lot. And then also like as far as the Gators go, I mean, I want the best for them. So every time that they are on the mound or in the box, like unless I'm competing against them, like I want them to get all the hits and all the outs. Like I just want the best things for them. So yeah, it was awesome to see them so high up there and compete against them and with them. I had so much fun with them all summer.
I believe you also shared the batting title. You won that as well. In fact, I remember because on Sunday you had a chance to hit their last at bat, but you pinch hit and stay batting champion there. What does that mean to also be the batting champion as well as winning the Athletes Unlimited there? It just really was so, you were so consistent throughout the whole the whole process there.
Thank you. I think I take a lot of pride in that. I think that I was, if I remember correctly, I think I was last year as well. So I think like I take a lot of pride in that and just being consistent in such an elite league with a really wide strike zone as well. So yeah, I definitely take a lot of pride in that. It was really cool to come in and like be consistent. Really awesome. I mean, I love competing, especially competing against the best. It's a lot of fun. So it was really cool.
Did you do anything different in preparing for this season than past seasons? I know you had just played with the World Cup there, yes, but did you do anything different that this year? Was it pretty much the same thing, and you just things worked out, worked your way in your benefit?
Yeah, I think the last two seasons it's been but the same as last season was the season. I think that since going away from Florida and not coaching on staff there, I've like full time have just been focused on my training and being in the best shape possible. So I think both last season and this season I went in really good shape of feeling really strong and ready to go. So I think that the last two seasons, I think the only difference this season, I was like, you know what? I am not worried about any personal stat points this year. All I care about is if my team won. And if I can help them win along the way, that's even better. So I was just like fully bought in on winning and helping my team win.
I am glad that you see you got the podcast now, blood in you now, because I was going to ask you about how do you stay ready and at the top of your game. I've said on record if my life depended on it and I could pick a softball hitter to get a base hit and be at the plate, I would pick you
Thank
because
you.
I remember covering you. It was a shocking developing story when you didn't get on base somehow. So it's a compliment to you, and you're arguably, I think, in the conversation for best hitter in the world. How do you stay at that elite of a level in a sport, as you know, can humble you that easily?
Yeah, I think just staying focused and staying bought into my process and what has gotten me here, like not straying away from that. Like I'm a huge tea person, so every day at AU, like I start my day on the tee and doesn't matter if I was at Florida or with Team USA or here, like I really take pride in my process and trying to buy into that and having my certain resets. So I think just staying within myself, but also like I'm really competitive. Like I love to compete. I love getting in the box, like me versus the pitcher. Like I love that. So I think like just that competitive fire staying in me, and then just staying true to myself and what makes me good.
You have a passion for offense. You have a passion for hitting. If people, people that watch, obviously listen to D1 softball podcast all year can pick up on that because you love talking offense there with Jenna Becerra there. Where did that passion for the offense come from as you were growing up?
I'm not sure. I think I've like just I've said before, like I think God made me to be a softball player, like, and I take a lot of pride in that. Like, a lot of times we get on, which I think is great. Like, I'm not defined by my sport, like I'm much more than that, but I really feel like I am totally identified by being a softball player, like, and I'm totally okay with that. Like, I think I only have positives that come out of that. But really from a really young age, like I was taking hitting lessons from Megan Stotts, who played at Arizona, formerly known as Megan Finnerty. So I had just someone who like played at the highest level that I had someone to look up to and teach me the correct things. So fell in love with hitting really early on and loved learning and loved the process. Like I've always loved practice. So I think that definitely helps when you love your work ethic, and you love getting after it, it helps the performance piece too.
How, you've accomplished so much. How do you get better every year? How do you say, okay, I could do this better from a hitting standpoint, just from being an overall player every year?
I think just learning from others. I think that AU is like the best part of that because we don't have coaches, so it's all like we're just learning from each other and learning how to compete. And the pitchers are so good that like sometimes you can't just rely on what you do. You have to make certain adjustments before even going into the box. So learning from my fellow hitters, like their approaches off of certain pitchers and seeing like what can I do different to make sure that I'm not having to make this adjustment after already going 0 for 2. Like I'm going into the first inning already having an adjustment to make off of Kat Osterman. Like I know what I'm trying to do, and I'm not going to let her get me out 3 times before I'm frustrated and try to do something different. So I think just learning from others and their approach and learning, and like in college, I like made pitchers like they have to earn the respect for me then to make adjustments. Like I want to rely on me first. And then if they get me out the same way and I'm unable to adjust, then like I'm going to need to make an adjustment. And I think in the pro level, like you have to be ready to adjust right away, especially the athletes in limited space. It's so quick. The season goes by so fast. And obviously every at bat really matters. So I think like that was a huge thing for me, like coming in, being ready to go and ready to make adjustments right away.
Tim Walton told me you were somebody that watched film. You loved film. You like to study mechanics and your techniques. How big is that part of your success, preparation, just confidence overall?
I think it's more of an organic piece. Like I didn't actively like go in college and watch film. Like I was just always watching softball. So it wasn't like when we would throw up film in a team space of like watching a certain pitcher, I had already watched her throw X amount of games because I'm like always glued to the TV when there's softball on, like I'm gonna watch it. So I think like I'm always watching softball and obviously taking mental notes along the way. But I think like just because I love the game, it's always like organically on that I love like paying attention. So I always have like I know things about certain pitchers and just what they like to do. And then just watching myself, I like to watch film. I love it there, like catch all the good swings. And then when it's not going well, I can compare my bad swings to my good swings. So I love like going back to making sure that I'm comparing to when I was really good, not just looking at swings when I'm bad, because if I don't feel great, then that something has to be off. So I have to compare it to some good too.
A lot of people enjoy watching you hit. I remember I would broadcast games with Francesca Anea, who you know very well, and I would tell her, well, which gate, you're probably the best gator hitter ever. And she stops me right now. No, it's Amanda Lorenz. I would watch you to play, right? And things like that. I'm curious, who do you enjoy watching hit?
Oh gosh. I love watching Bubba Nichols hit. Um, hmm, who else? Bubba is so good. And what she's so good at like not letting the next pitch bleed into like that the current pitch bleeding into the next pitch. Like I can get frustrated over certain things and it will like I'll carry it with me the next pitch. A bad call or a bad swing, she's so good at like onto the next pitch and flushing things. Like I love that from like I learn a lot from her every time I watch her hit because I can do a way better job at like managing that and moving on to the next pitch, not letting it affect that. Love watching her hit. I think that Sydney Romero is like one of the best at adjusting to different speeds. I think it's almost like pitchers don't even want to throw her a changeup because they know like she's just so good at seeing the ball and like capitalizing on it. Um, gosh, Vic Hayward had a really good season this year. She was fun to watch too. Just she has so many tools. So to see her like be able to slap, bunt, and then also hit with a little bit of power. She hit it over some outfielders' heads a few times. That was really fun. But yeah, those are some just from this season that I enjoyed a lot.
It sounds like you enjoy the camaraderie and getting to know some of these players that maybe you've competed against in the past in various levels. Now you get to know them as people, but also get to see them up close and see what makes them so great and maybe pick their brain a little bit.
Yeah, oh my gosh, like it's so fun. Like I really remember my first year on the Pride, so in 2019, fresh off college, and I'm in the dugout with so many elite hitters and Jesse Warren and Alex Powers. They're hitting on the tee with me, and they're asking like what my plan is when I go up to hit. Like what am I gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna see ball, hit ball. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't have like, and they were like, wait, you don't like go in like attacking a certain pitch or like attacking a certain side of the plate. And I was like, no, like I'm really bad at that. And they were like, oh my gosh, like we are exactly the opposite. Like we need to go in with a super specific plan, or else it's like nowhere near close to like what I want to do. And I'm like, that's so interesting. I think that was when I started to really understand like how many different ways that you can be a really, really good hitter. And it's so cool to like learn from others and their plans and what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, what they need to set their swing for the day. Like you'll have people go in and hit off live and they're just really trying to spray oppo, like they're hitting it foul balls almost like just really trying to get their swing set. So I love paying attention to those little things and seeing how I can incorporate them to my game and see if it's something that will work for me or something that won't work. Like that's cool too. But I just love like the how everyone can do something different and still be such an elite hitter.
That's true. I've teased Alex Powers about this because she's complimented you and talked about, seeing you playing and playing with you. I'm like, aren't you Seminoles gators? You know you're supposed to hate each other, right? That's the whole purpose. What are you all getting along here? I was just teasing there.
Oh my God, it's so crazy because totally. But then in my pro career, like some of my favorite teammates have been Seminoles. Like I have they've been great people, great friends, like elite teammates. Like Kat Sandercock is my girl. Like I love Kat. She was like my must have on my teams. Like each week when I was drafting, like I wanted Kat on my team. Like she was just so great. So there is supposed to be some hatred there, but like I love them and I have so much respect for their program. And I also love how every single girl that comes out of there, they love Coacha and just have the best things to say about their program. So obviously someone that loves my program with all my heart, like I want everyone to have that experience. So I think that's really cool.
Well, you both have comments now that you both played for now NFCA Hall of Fame coaches. Lonnie was inducted last December. Coach Walton's going to be inducted this December. We'll get to him in a little bit. But part of that, too, is, hey, you were a captain this year as a result, many a times. Describe that experience now, being a captain and having to pick your team.
Yeah, I think that picking the team was the easy part. I had like some of my people that I knew, like, I really trust them and want them on my team. And then also, it moves so fast that you have a list and you have a plan and it quickly gets like you have to throw away that plan because people are going to pick your people. Like everyone is smart, right? But I think that the different spot was like now like in games I'll get really frustrated and mad like if we lose an inning or if we lose. And I'm like now it was met with like I'm also really sad that that like a plan didn't work. Like I'm sad because it feels like I let my whole team down. Like I had this certain plan and so it wasn't just I'm just pissed and competitive. It's like also I'm upset because that means I set up my team for failure and I didn't have the best plan or lead us in the best direction. So I think that was the difference. Like it was going to be met with a little bit more emotion if the plan didn't work. And then just like more pressure to make sure like I'm going to have these decisions and I'm going to stand by them. Like I'm going to follow my gut. I'm going to stand by my decision and like let it roll. And it was definitely different. And I was scared of the captain role the last couple years. I was like, the goal is just to be fifth, like be fifth the whole season. If I can just hang at the top and not actually have to be a captain, like that's ideal. And then this year I was like, okay, I was really nervous for the second week. I was a captain. I was like, okay, I'm going to be really nervous and then I'm going to lean in, like I'm going to see how good I can be at it. And I really liked it. I was like, okay, this is fun. Like I'm learning a lot. I'm like getting to like figure out like, I've always thought like I think I'm a good leader. But that's like you don't have anyone to lean on, like you are the leader. So like how are you really going to lead these people and create a good environment? So I was like, this was good to like put my money where my mouth is and like figure it out and see how good I can be. It was really fun. And then it was like during the middle of one of the weekends, one of this third week, we went 1-2, and I was like, ooh, like, dang, I might not be a captain this week. Ended up being the gold captain somehow, but I was like, might not be a captain, and I was like, dang, like, I think I want to be a captain. Like, it's fun being in control of who's on my team, being in control of the lineup, being in control of the plan. Like, it definitely feels like I have more ownership in my season for sure. But learned a ton, and definitely tried to be better every week, but it was just a really cool experience.
Did because you spent some time after you're done playing at Florida, you were on the staff as
Mhm.
a volunteer and everything. Did that help you? Did you kind of lean on that as you went the captain route, or is it completely a different animal?
I think it's a completely different animal because I'm like I was involved in a lot of like hitting talks and defense talks and things like that. I was never involved in pitching talks and like how to manage a pitching staff. So I leaned on the pitchers a ton, leaned on the catchers a ton of just like feedback. And I've always loved like the way that Florida State runs their pitching staff of like just sharing innings. And, Kat definitely had that closing role a lot at Florida State. And so when I had her on my team, I was like, hey, like these are my thoughts, but what are your thoughts? And she's like, hey, I think I'm always a closer here. Like I want to start a game. She's like, obviously, I trust you. Whatever you do sounds good, but like, I'd love the opportunity to start one of the games this week. And I was like, amazing. Like, I had so much like dialogue with my pitchers because I wanted to make sure that they were like, took a little ownership of their process as well. Like, if someone told me, like, I really want to start against purple, like, I know that I'm going to own them for 4 innings, like, give me the ball. Then, like, I was like, yes, fire me up. Like, of course you can have the ball. So, I tried to have a lot of conversations because I was like, you guys know way more about you than me. I know like certain hitters and what they like to hit, but you guys know that too. So what do you want? Like, how can I best set you up for success? So really leaned on them a ton. And I had just great pitchers that loved, like, totally bought into the team mentality and sharing innings and being willing to go every game if that meant like they're only throwing 3 innings a game, but they're going to throw every game. So they were really great. They like were really patient with me when like I was like, I hope you blow up my plan. If you're throwing a no hitter, trust me, I'm not taking you out. Like I hope you blow it up. But so they were just really great. Kat ended up starting a game and came in to close that same game, and just little things like that was really fun of just like being like when they wanted something, I'm like, yes, I trust you. Like let's roll with it. And like them feeling that and being able to be bought in was really fun.
Very, I can tell. Who was your go-to person to keep track of where you were set as far as the standings, what you needed to do? Avoid did you have? Because I had Bubba Nichols on when she won AUX, and she said she leaned on her. She told her facility person, like, you tell me every situation, update me on everything there, and she would update her and everything like that. It was a tight race, so every situation. Did you go that approach or what? Or no?
No, not at all. Like I just wanted us to win. Like the last 2 seasons, so 2022 and 2023, I was on Alyssa Denham's team to close out the season, and I went 3-0, but with both times with her. So like she brought me to the promised land. I got on her team, and we got a lot of win points, and that made me shoot up the leaderboard. So that's all I cared about was like I want to go 3-0 to help my team win and help them shoot up the leaderboard. I ended up going 2-1, so that kind of sucked, but that was really all I was consumed with is like, how can I help my team win and help them gain more points, get them up the leaderboard, so in turn they can make more money. But that's all I was concerned about. But also I think I had a little bit of a good idea heading into that last game, because the people behind me were in that blue versus purple game, so had a little bit of sense of that. But for the most part, I was just so like I just want to help my team win and I want us to win. That's really all I was consumed with.
That's always been a part of your pedigree. That's your DNA, though. It's always about the team, team, team. I mean, I remember going back to when you played at Florida. Coach Walton would talk about that's why you're one of his favorite players because you're always about the team first, everything. And it sounds like that's approach here in everything that you go about it.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, that's the most beautiful part of our game is like, being bought into just winning. And I think that's what I love about the postseason in particular, like in college softball, is like the stats don't matter at all. Like it does not matter. There's certain people that are going to be circled on the scouting report, but like it doesn't matter who the hero is. Like all that matters is we have a hero and it can be anyone. It matters that we win. So that like I've said that to a few times to my teams this year was like, hey, I want us to take that mentality of like, I chose you. I don't care what your batting average looks like. Like I think of you as a certain hitter and I believe in you and I want us to win. I want us to focus on winning. And I think like they really bought into that and it helped like having a lot of fun. You had Aaron Koffel hit a bomb off of Alicia Ocasio to tie the game. And then we're in extra innings and she looks at me and she's like, do you want me to hit or do you want me to bunt? And I was like, okay, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I'm in for whatever you think. And I'm like, okay, well, look, we get this run, we win. So I feel like we should probably bunt. I was like, if you want one pitch to take a hack, like I'm all in, like whatever you decide, like I'm in. She's like, no, I can do it. I can do it. And I was like, amazing. Like, I know you can. She lays down a beautiful bunt. We ended up scoring on a wild pitch and winning the game. And she comes in. I'm like, yes, like so fired up for her bunting. She told me so many times, like, thanks for believing in me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? Like, so easy to believe in. But like that might be like one of the highlights of my season of just like really trying to pour into people and it working of them just thriving and having so much joy playing free instead of thinking about the leaderboard. They're just worried about how to help their team win.
How big is that, is from a teammate standpoint, to give that positive feedback to your fellow teammates? Because that's one thing that's always drawn me to softball and covering softball, and even baseball to an extent, because both sports are similar in this regard that it's a sport that there's more failure than success. So positive feedback, positive encouragement to your fellow people is so critical, and more, maybe even more so in this sport than any other sport, because you're going to fail more times than not. Is that something that was always subconscious to you, or is that just part of you, always what just came natural?
Yeah, I think like understanding just how hard the game is. I think that that was like definitely what I was trying to preach to, especially like rookies and younger players in our league this summer was like, this is hard. Like, this is not meant to be easy. Like, this is different than what you're used to. The strike zone is different. The fences are further back. Like, it's hard. It's hard to compete. It's hard to win. Those pitchers practice a lot too, and they're really freaking good. So just fully buying into that and then just like figuring out how to have fun. Like Erin, for example, again, like she got hit a lot by the inside pitch this season. And so when she's on my team for week 5, we're hitting BP. I was like, Erin, everybody in the league is saying how you can't hit the inside pitch. Like you can't hit the inside pitch. You're just getting hit by it. Like you cannot. And no one is saying this. I'm just like getting in her head, trying to fire her up. And she looks back at me, and then like the BP thrower is throwing inside. She's hitting absolute tanks, like just totally demolishing these inside pitches. And I'm like, hey, I stood up for you. Like I said, I think you can hit it. And they still don't think so. And so it was just like so funny for her to like take a Lily inside pitch and hit it over the fence. And like, I told you they pitched it there on purpose. They did not think you could hit it. So just like trying to keep it fun and light because it's just really freaking hard. Everyone is really elite, especially in our league. So like, how can we make it fun and still find joy in the little things when it's a really hard game?
That's a great message there. We're speaking with Amanda Lorenz here on In the Circle on D1 Softball, the Athletes Unlimited champion. What was it like when you got presented with the medal? I'm assuming you put it on. I saw the photos. You took a bite out of the medal there. What was that like?
Really surreal and just weird. Like I won so many games, but not because of me, but because of what my teams looked like and what other people were able to do. So it felt really weird, like to be the only one when it felt like this was like so many people had a hand in that happening. So really thankful. I had so much fun. It was like really challenging and it felt good to like get challenged a little bit and like look at it in its eye and like try to rise up and get better. So I think like I learned a lot this year. I grew a lot this year. And so the growth, I'm probably really proud of that. And just like, I'm really proud of my people and all the people that helped me get there, because I definitely didn't do it on my own. Like I had so many win points. Like you look back to like Deja Mulapola, the year that she won, like she had an unbelievable number of stat points. Like just the craziest season that any position player would be able to like put up, and it still was so close. And I'm like, okay, that makes me feel like it will never happen for a position player like me, who definitely doesn't hit as many home runs as Deja. Like she had to have a nearly perfect season offensively, like, and won. Like that's crazy. Like I definitely won a lot. So it just feels like so many people had a hand in it. So that part felt weird for me. Because it feels like it's such a team environment. I wanted to celebrate with like a group.
You got to celebrate there, and of course, fellow Gator Ocasio gets medaled again. And Skylar in her rookie year did incredible. I know you weren't surprised by that, but I mean, there's that. What is it about being the Gator? I mean, obviously, you got Stewart there as well, among others. But like, you all seem to perform great, whether it's international or professionally. Where does that come from? That all of you that come out after you come out of the Florida program, you're ready to play at the highest level, either internationally and or professionally.
Well, I think Coach Walton really treats us like professionals. Like we own our process. We are not told to do it A, B, and C. We have ownership of our process. So like we're able to go into the next phase and really own like what we are and who we are. So I'd say that first, like we don't fit in this box and say like this is the only way to do things. So I think that yeah, we get treated like professionals, and we learn how to win there. Like we're winners. Like I don't care what the season looks like what we do and how we go about things, and just the way that the program runs. Like he breeds winners, like outside of the field, on the field, the way that you do everything, like you're a winner. So I think just that bleeds into every aspect of your life. Like I know that I want to win at all times. Like I don't care if we're just hanging around playing a card game, if we're playing pickleball, like what else, whatever we're doing, like I want to win. Like I can never turn that off. And I think that he does such a great job of like helping us like just kind of cultivate that, and know that we're going to be ready for whatever throws at us next is we're going to be ready.
You get to keep the medal.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to? You have a spot in mind where you're going to put it, or you haven't thought about it yet?
No, I have no idea. It would be cool to eventually like I have some like USA medals, like the gold medal that we won with the World Games. And that one's really, really cool. So I'd love to like eventually have something cool like next to my senior day poster, and maybe like um have a cool little room in our house where we can, store away some cool trophies. So like when we're has-beens and we have kids and they grow up, and we can be like, your mom was pretty cool back in the day. Just so really just to show it off for them, to show, yeah, like dad might be coaching baseball and you might think he's cool. Like, trust me, like your mom was really cool. So I think really just, I want to like be able to have that for them one day. But other than that, I think it's in a bag somewhere. I'm still packed up, just got home. So, but it's really cool, really heavy, really big, really cool.
It's good. It's a good problem to have. It's a good
Yeah.
problem to have. Trying to figure it out. That's a good placement there to have that. Of course, there's going to be so many memories from this year. Another one being obviously Haylie McCleney retiring after athletes. I mean, was it like playing with her? You've gotten to play with her. On the Mount Rushmore Olympian. I mean, her accolade speaks for itself. Is it emotional when you see players like her? And she wasn't the only one. There was others, and obviously that retires. It was a big line this year. Is it emotional? What's that like being in that last weekend and making sure that those players get honored correctly?
Yeah, I think like definitely emotional with Halo. I think that, everyone knows her of being like such an amazing softball player, but I promise you, like she's an even better human. Like she is just so elite in everything that she does. She's an elite person, elite human, elite teammate, elite friend, elite softball player. She's just so great. The way that she treats everybody, she just does everything right. So I just feel one of the biggest honors of my softball career is to say that I got to play next to her on Team USA, got to play with her at Athletes Unlimited, but just so honored that I got to play with her and learn from her, and hopefully like keep certain things that she does alive. And but just so lucky I got to play with her. She did so much for the game. She always did it the right way. And I can't wait to see what she does next. Like she's going to continue crushing life and doing cool things for us to cheer on, but definitely sad to see her go, but can't wait to see like what she left in the rookies, to see how they're going to embody like their Haylie McCleney to keep this thing rolling and growing. But yeah, amazing. And it was like definitely bittersweet, so many retiring, especially like Gwen Savekis, I think unsung like hero of the league. I think best pitch caller that our league has, no doubt. Just for so many years, it's not a coincidence why the number one pitcher every year has
Yeah.
chosen Gwen to be their catcher. So and obviously she's a close friend as well. So yeah, but again, I just can't wait to see what these guys do next. Like they're gonna crush life and crush their careers and whatever they do next. But I can't wait to continue cheering them on and in whatever life looks like next.
No doubt. You're not slowing down. In fact, I mean, you played this summer with the U.S. national team, and played at Athletes Unlimited. Is that a challenge playing them back? Both of those in the same year. Take me through that. What is that like to play with Team USA overseas, in a major tournament internationally, like you did this year in Italy, but then get ready to play Athletes Unlimited basically in a short period of time?
I think it's fun. Like I loved, like I was I think the thing I was most excited for this summer was going to training camp in Oklahoma City and like being able to practice with other people and like train for the same goal. So fun. Like I love practice. I love getting coached. Like I was so excited. Coach Walton was there, so I couldn't wait to like get coached up by Coach Walton and just like be around like-minded people. So I think it was like a really good opportunity to like be invested in team softball and try to win softball games. And then I came in ready to go because I had been, practicing, getting reps and stuff, came in ready to go. So I don't know that it's like a different mindset. It's just different of like you're not with the same people for every game, but just excited and thankful for another summer of softball. I think that's what it comes down to. Like I'm 27 years old and then graduated from college 5 years ago and I'm still playing this game and getting paid for it. Like that's pretty cool. So super thankful and excited for any opportunity I get.
How are you a different player today than you were when you say your senior year at Florida?
Ooh, I think that I am more aggressive probably. Like I think that that's probably what's changed in my offensive game. Like in college, I loved like getting to a 3-2 count and like two strikes were where I thrived. But I feel like now our strike zone is so big at Athletes Unlimited. Like it's really hard to hit with two strikes. So definitely try to hit earlier in the count. Because what I think is a ball is not always a ball. So um, I think it's just bigger. Like you're having to compete with chalk to chalk, and our pitchers are so good that it's really hard to be able to hit Taylor McQuillan when she's touching that outside
Sure.
corner that far. Like that's really hard. So I think just trying to be able to be ready to go from pitch one, which usually I'm like someone that I get better every pitch that you throw in the at bat. Like I'm getting more in tune and more locked in. But I think that I've just had to really focus on hitting earlier in the count and being ready to go early.
That is so fascinating. You do realize as people listen to this, going to be college players and pitchers and college pitching coaches are like, really? Can you give us the contacts of those umpires and bring them? Because I
Oh,
always
they're
hear
the same. They're the same umpires. It's just a different
oh,
strike
well,
zone.
I'm telling you, well, there's people there. They're you screaming like, really? Where is
Yeah,
that? What's that strike zone? Sometimes it's been
yeah.
funny. That's so fascinating. Take me through your preparation because, like, right now, you just finished Athletes Unlimited, and you were on with Jenna in her podcast. Uh, they're talking about how the 2028 Olympics is a goal for you. You're not hiding from that.
Yeah.
So you're going to keep playing for a while. But how do you get yourself prepared? Take me through it now. You just played as an athlete. Do you take some time off? You get back in the, how take us for the audience because I think a lot of people would be fascinated. How do you train and stay at this high level you have a high standard for yourself and you've set a high standard.
Yeah, I mean, today I got up and went to go work out. I couldn't wait to get back with my people and start working out again. But I think I think that I'm going to kind of flip a page to try be a little bit different and more intentional about my softball training. I think that the last 2 years have been really consistent about getting in the weight room and, being my strongest self. But I really want to train with others. So like me and Hannah Flippin, we're like trying to devise a plan, like where can we go? What campuses can we go just from our contacts and try to get a weekend here, a weekend there, and try to train. Like I want to go out to Arizona and train there for a little bit where she lives and train at the University of Arizona. I want to go down to Florida and train with Hannah there in Gainesville, and just I'm going to go down to Georgia and train with Coach Tony, like trying to like work with these people that have been so awesome and invested in us, invested time. Is just like we want to keep going, like invite others and see, like, because I think a huge flaw is like we're all scattered. So how can we like get some of these Team USA people together? How can we train together on a once a month, once every other month basis of like checking in and just continuing to train together, because it can be pretty lonely training on your own and asking people to front toss you and things like that. I'm super fortunate here in Clemson. Like Jessie Harper has been amazing. Every time that I need front toss, like she's been so awesome about me using, like Coach Rittman, always I'm able to use their softball cages and whenever I'd like, obviously without interrupting their practice time, and just been so great. But there's a different sense of like hitting with someone else and having someone to challenge you. And like I see Hannah flip and have a perfect round. Like I want a perfect round too. So I think that's definitely going to change starting this off season. Is I'm going to be more intentional about, yeah, I'm going to have to travel more and do certain things, but like I want to be able to invest more time in my training and training with others, so that the time like when we come together as a team each year, like a core of us, we've been training together and we know everyone's ticks, we know how to work together. So because that's like, I just really want to buy into that and hope that by the time, if I'm on the team, if I'm not, that there's been a group of people that have been training together for a number of years, that when 2028 comes, like we're locked in, we know everything about each other, and we're ready to roll. So I think that that's a huge goal of mine, is to see how we can orchestrate that, see how more of us can train together year round, so that we're not training together just a week before we leave for the World Cup. Like how can we continue to work together and practice and make each other better, so that we don't skip a beat when we come together for the short amount of time in the summer.
Who was a player you grew up that maybe inspired you to? Because you obviously that's your dream. You said to play in the Olympics. You love wearing the red, white, and blue. I know the last time we had you on, you talked about that. That was like a big deal when you first got it. Who inspired you?
Oh God, literally everybody on the 2008 Olympic team. I just absolutely worshipped them. Like Jenny Finch, Natasha Watley, Lovey Jung, like seriously, everybody, like upset Lauren Lappin, like Jess Mendoza, Caitlin Lowe, like obsessed with all of them. Like I waited in every single one of their lines for autographs. I have pictures with so many of them. Like just they really made me feel like I stood in line for their autograph so many times, and each time I was like, yeah, like she totally knows me. Like I just like they really made me feel like important and like I could accomplish anything. And I will never forget that. Like they had so many young girls stand in line for their autographs, that I know that they made them feel exactly the same. Like they did not remember me. They had so many, but I could tell you, like I would say, like, no, she definitely remembered me from the last time. It's like so like amazing, just the way that they made me feel. Like they really made me feel like I could accomplish anything. Like if I wanted to play for Team USA, I could. So I fully believe like they, for what they've done for the sport and for me, obviously just being good role models is why I'm still here and still playing. And I hope that I can give just to one little girl like the hope that she can do what I'm doing too, because this sport has been so freaking good to me.
Well, trust me, you are, because I remember driving up to Clearwater this year for the ESPN tournament, and I knew you were there, but I couldn't get a hold of you because you were surrounded by a lot of kids around you. And I'm like, all right, I'll just hang out with Jenna in the meantime. But you were so nice. I mean, that's a big part of the responsibility there that you seem to embrace. That these people are coming up to you and say they want to take a photo with you or sign an autograph of you. I mean, you are very important in the game, and that certainly we saw that as an example in Clearwater, but I'm sure that's subconscious in the back of your mind about, there's the people that are always fans of yours as well. That you were in those shoes at one point.
Yeah, I remember specifically one time asking Crystal Bustos for her autograph, and and she was actually like talking to someone they were about to eat, and I was like, we were like, oh, I'm so sorry, like to interrupt like really quick. And she was like, oh, please never be sorry. Like the time that someone stops asking me, I know I'm like washed up and old. And I remember that too. Like, I mean, I was probably 10 years old, or 11 years old when she said that to me, and I still remember it. So anytime like in a softball space, if someone knows who I am, or remembers me from my time at Florida, or whatever it means, like, oh, it's just so cool that they're a fan of me and have watched me play. I think that's so awesome, and I don't take that lightly. I like really try to always be respectful of the game, and like it has really given me the world. So just so thankful.
Of all those players you met, was there one where you were like nervous? You were in awe? Like I remember when I first met Jessica Mendoza, when she was playing with the Pride, I was in awe. Like I was like, oh shoot, this is not television. She's right there in person. I was like, what do I say? Right? I'm thinking in my head, and she's down to earth and everything. Was there somebody like that you were nervous as you met?
Um, honestly, no. I think because I had such like a false sense of like they're my friends. Like
That's good. That
I'm obsessed
works.
with them. I think like I was just so excited to meet Jenny Finch though. Like
Sure.
she was like really everything to me. I will never forget the way that like she had the longest line. I was at Easton Stadium on their Bound for Beijing tournament. I
Yeah.
mean, tour, and they were playing UCLA. And I remember I stood in line like for so long for Jenny's autograph, and all the lines were finished. Hers was still going. And like an employee came by and was like, Jenny, it's time, like go to the bus. And she was like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until this line is finished. They know, they're like, the bus is waiting for you. She was like, this is not new. The bus knows it's gonna be fine. And they tried again, and they tried to snatch like her Sharpie, and she was like, no, I'm gonna stay until all of them are finished. And so I like will never forget how she just like made sure, didn't matter that they were trying to scoot her off. Like she wanted to make sure every single little girl that was waiting for her autograph like got their moment. And so I definitely was like probably the most obsessed with her, and just, but that moment too, like I'll never forget, of just like, wow, that was so cool. Like she's so busy. I'm sure like even looking at like the tour must have been so taxing on their bodies and so much. And like she was so gracious to see to everybody that stood in line. So yeah, she was probably number one for me that I was like so fangirl over.
You and many others. It was funny. Like Jenna obviously just interviewed her on her podcast, and I had to text her when I saw them, like in all caps, like I don't. That's insane that you got. How did you pull that off? And I was just blowing up her phone. And her, of course, as you've gotten to know her now, very low key. It's like, yeah, got it worked out. I got a friend that mutual friend that helped me up with that, which is so Jenna on brand, right? Like
Yeah.
just very cool deal. And that's my way of segueing this because you got to work with Jenna this year, co hosting the D1 Softball podcast. What was that experience like being on the media side for this year?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was exciting to just talk. I mean, I love softball. I love watching softball, so it was really fun to just talk about it in a space. But Jenna is so great. So working with her was awesome and super easy. She's so smart, Stanford gal. So she's like so organized and ready to go. I'm definitely more sporadic and out there, but yeah, no, it's so fun. Like I really, really enjoyed it.
That was fun. What's it like to be the one that's interviewing people? You got to interview people like Jerry Glasgow. You got to interview Tim, for example, which was part when you had the Florida staff on. What was that experience like being on the other side now, asking the questions?
Yeah, I think it was like a little nerve-wracking, especially when we interviewed the Florida staff. I was like probably the most nervous about that, just because like I mean I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but like specifically them, it's like interrupting your dad at work. You're like, oh, like I hope that you have time for this. Like it was just definitely a sense of like I wanted it to be worth their while. And like giving intentional, like thoughtful questions. So they're not like, because there's nothing worse when you're getting interviewed by someone and you're like, what a stupid question. Like, thank you so much. But like, I guarantee you the average softball fan like knows this. Like, I don't need to answer this question. So tried to give thoughtful, intentional questions, and questions that I would enjoy answering, or I would enjoy wanting to know. But I would say like it was just really fun and really cool. Like I love Coach Glasgow. Like I think he's so great. I got to play with him on the Pride, and such a quality human. And he's different. He's out there, and he's definitely sporadic, and but like just such a great person. So that was exciting to get to connect with him and talked to him. One of my other favorite interviews was Trisha Ford from
Yeah.
A&M. She was so great. Like I'd known her a little bit here and there and have had some conversations with her, and she's always been so great to me. But like I feel like she really opened up and like shared so much with us. So like that was really cool just to hear some intentional things that like if you're an A&M fan, like you would love hearing this. So yeah, it was really interesting and cool. I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, you got a lot of great guests this year. I think you did. You interview? I think you had Lexi Kilfoyle on at
Yep.
some point, right? Did you
Yep.
talk to Nija? I try to remember
I
if that
did.
was.
Yep.
Which I don't know if she's been in the news recently. I don't remember what was going on with her there. I mean, all the people you talked to have been making headlines ever since.
Yeah, we shot our shot with a lot of big people, so it's been working.
Did you? Were you there with Beth? You talked to Beth, Terry, right? You had at some point either in.
I think we had talked to her like in Clearwater. I don't know that we
Yes.
had her on the podcast
Well, that was
though.
the other because you talked to a lot of people in Clearwater in
Yeah.
person
Yep.
as well to do the interviews. I mentioned that, and then you got to learn like people like me that are like completely insanity, going crazy over bracketology because I'm as competitive as you are on the field. I'm as competitive as trying to get every pick right, and
Um,
complete raw reactions as brackets are being unveiled live there on the live show. So you got to see the insanity part of me. So I apologize in advance.
no, it's so cool. Like I love like when people care about things that they're involved in. Like it's so cool, and you're always asking intentional questions as well. So always great. I never have a problem.
I was trying to learn, always trying to learn on the deal. I mentioned Tim. He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in December.
About
Uh,
damn time.
amen. You said it really well. What was your reaction when you heard about that? I'm assuming you'll be around there during that time period. I don't know what the plans are, so I'm not going to get anybody in trouble with spoilers or any of that stuff. But just speak about him. You know him as well as anybody on and off the field, and what he's meant to the sport.
Yeah, he was actually he was at our wedding when he found out about it. We were at our rehearsal like night welcome party before, and he had found out. So that was really cool. Like teased him like he had to take away from my moment, like of course announcing like no, he didn't announce it or anything, just like I knew that it was happening, but just really cool. Obviously, I'm other than his family, but I would say I'm right next to his family of just being his number one fan and just thinking he is the best of the best. I think that he's so elite. He's such an incredible human. He's just has the best personality too. I think like a lot of the media doesn't get to see that because he like saves it for his people, like his people and his teams, like they know how he is and how he operates. But I just can't say enough about how much respect and love I have for him. Obviously, like I think he is the best coach in the country, no doubt. And yeah, I'm so excited for him. It's so deserved. It's been a long time coming. Can't believe it's taken this long, but I'm really excited for him.
I've said on the podcast, I think this past year was his best job of his career, which is saying he's done a great job. But like, put the analyst hat on for a second. What he had this year, I mean, basically two pitchers, a young freshman pitchers, none with no experience, to take that team to the World Series and literally be 3 outs away from playing for the national championship. I was blown away by the job that he
And
did.
he
I know,
was not SEC Coach of the Year. I'm like, make sense to me. Like, I couldn't be more vocal about the fact that like it was an unbelievable job.
yeah.
He hired two new coaches this offseason, that offseason coming in. So he had two new coaches, so many people that had to step up in their freshman years, like just insane. Like obviously it's a testament to the players for responding and all the things, but it's a testament to recruiting. It's a testament to the culture that he provides. I mean, obviously, I totally agree with you. It's the best job that he's done, but really cool. And I'm not shocked. The people that know.
No, but it's still like because you're right. He was picked middle of the pack SEC, and I don't think many people thought he would get to the World Series this year.
Yeah.
Because I remember even when I spoke to him before the year, obviously this was the freshman class he was always taught, is excited about with Rothrock and company. But he was like, we got to develop him into that level, and you know what he's talking about
Yeah.
developing them before taking steps. But still, I mean, it was pretty remarkable what he did, winning the SEC tournament title. I don't think he won SEC Coach of the Year because usually what happens is the coaches vote for whoever wins the league a lot of times, which
Well,
I
that's
don't
dumb.
necessarily agree all the I like to see you got the podcast. I love it. The hot take
I
ready to
don't
go.
like that doesn't make any sense. Like the most talented team is usually the one that does it, but that's not
Sure.
necessarily the coach of the year.
I agree. No, you and I are on the same boat. And like I said, I was blown away by him and credit to Fran. I want to give her some shine because she walked in, left the broadcast booth to get into coaching, and I spoke to a lot of those players, and they said it was so big to have somebody that has been there and had done it, but also be that female voice
Yeah.
there as well that they can relate to. Which you obviously Fran as well. She had a big impact in that success. She doesn't want to hear that. She doesn't like hearing those compliments, but she, I think, and Tim has said, was a big part of that culture that they've had there.
Absolutely. And the players love her so much. So it's like so cool to see them just, fully understand like what an impact she's had on our program. And then for her to come back and just someone that loves the program so much. Like there's something so cool about, loving the program and then being involved in their success day to day. So she's done an incredible job. She's absolutely killing it and totally deserves her flowers, even if she won't receive them.
Well, she's going to get some flowers in October. She gets inducted to the Florida Gators Hall of Fame. Well deserved.
Yes.
Long time there. Very competitive human being too. I'm afraid if you two are in the same room, I don't know how that would work. I feel like you two would break out in a competitive in
We'd
anything.
be on the same team.
Oh, see, there you go. Just unite.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
unite.
like we are one in the same. Like we get each other. We definitely are like right here. So there's any time that we would be looking to compete against others, but we'd be competing on a team for sure. We didn't get to play together, so we have to like, make sure that we get some sort of it out of the way, but we wouldn't compete against each other. We'll compete against others.
Smart. See, you two are smart. That's
Yeah.
great thinking. I'm thinking you're gonna, oh, maybe you two are gonna compete in like Scrabble or
No.
nope, nope. You unite. That's smart. That's why you both are. That's why she's going to the Hall of Fame. You're gonna go to that Hall of Fame down the road at some point in a long time. I will give you praise because I thought of you because when Florida's making that run in the postseason, I was at the Super Regionals and then they covered that against Baylor and then they got to the World Series. But meanwhile, you got to follow Clemson baseball because your husband is on the Clemson staff. They're in the regionals, supers. Like, I cover college baseball on the side. Like, that's, first of all, I hate the fact that college baseball postseason, and as you've learned this, softball postseasons collide.
Yeah.
It's not fun, but that is insane. And then Clemson's playing Florida in the baseball super regionals. Are you like, are you had to be looking up at the sky? I'm like, are you kidding me? What are you doing to me here?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was like, "Oh, who are you rooting for?" I'm like, "What? Like, I'm rooting for Clemson, duh." Like, Florida baseball, like, they don't owe me. I don't owe them anything. Like, I didn't go through that program. Like, now, if he coached softball and he was coaching against Florida softball, that's when I would have some issues. Like, that's when I would like, that would
Ooh.
hurt my heart. But this didn't hurt my heart. Like, I mean, I just love Clemson and the people that Griffin gets to work with. They're so great. Like, we're so happy here. So it's so easy to obviously root for them. It was never a thought. It was weird, like to see so much orange and blue and like me to
Yes.
hear the fight song and me to hate it. I'm like, stop it, like stop playing it. Like I don't like I'm gonna cover my ears, like all of those things. But it was definitely weird, but um, you know,
That
family.
That baseball stadium is an incredible atmosphere, by the way. Having seen Clemson, I mean that atmosphere is amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
From afar, it looks like. I mean, you've sit there, you've gone to it. I mean, that looks gorgeous from on television.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool place, really special place, and especially during the postseason, the fans definitely show up and they're loud. So it's been fun.
Last thing, I do have to ask you. There was the viral moment where you surprised the Gators players
Yeah.
in Athens, and you like literally like walked in and yelled at "Go Gators!" and they were like freaked. I think was it Scott? I don't remember who it was, but one of the they were like freaked out, like whoa! And you're like and you instantly realize, oh wait, maybe I went a little overboard. Wait, I didn't mean to scare you there. But that was funny. Take us through that moment because that was one of my favorite moments of the year there when you surprised them there.
Yeah, I got to go to the game and it was so fun. And then after, like, Brittany is our director of ops, and she was like, go in and see them. And I was like, oh, are they talking? Like, am I allowed to go in? And she's like, no, like they had just mercied, like run ruled Georgia. She's like, trust me, it's okay if you walk in there. It's not like I'm interrupting a serious moment. But I was like so excited and kind of like just hitting everybody. And actually I hit Cassidy McClellan. And she had just had surgery. So that's why I was like, oh no, 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 no. Like it was just like my emotions got the best of me there of like just hyping everyone up. So that's why I wasn't worried about scaring anyone. Definitely Skylar would be the last person that I would scare. She probably saw me coming like and ready to roll and yell with me. She's just as psycho as me, but I was so excited to just like see them, see new faces, and hype them up and just like, because it's so fun being a fan of them, like, and being in their corners. Like, it was really cool to just jump in there and interrupt and scream and just like, it's fun. Winning is fun and winning is hard. So, and I definitely learned that from Coach Walton. Like, we need to celebrate the wins because winning is hard, especially hard when you beat a really good Georgia team on their home field and you do it in run rule fashion. Like, that's pretty crazy, and we deserve to celebrate that. So, and obviously the rivalry piece as well, but just so cool to like be in the same space as them. And I'm so lucky that they still let me come around. Like, oh God, like so cool.
Trust me, you're always going to be welcome. I was there in the Super Regionals. You're all over the walls. You're like everywhere. So even if you're not there, you're there. Like I mean, that's
Always got eyes there.
and I'm pretty sure like Coach Walton will mention you in every like any media question they ask about players and comparing them. Like, well, you know, that's a man. I had Amanda, and you know, so you're trust me, you're definitely not. You're always going to be welcome there. I have a feeling from that standpoint. As you get next time we talk, in a lengthier piece, we'll probably be getting close to the college softball season. Is there anything that's popped up to you that you're kind of intrigued to look forward to this upcoming year? Whether it's the fact that Texas and Oklahoma are going to be in the SEC this year, not Jerry and Nija, and now at Texas Tech. Obviously, Nija with her deal at Texas Tech making big headlines with the NIL. What's caught your interest here as you get 2025 before you know it's around the corner?
Yeah, I think I'm most excited about Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC and seeing like what that looks like. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see Jordy Ball be a healthy Jordy Ball and what she's able to do for Nebraska. I'm definitely excited to see like, I think this is like the first big piece of NIL, like as big as we've seen it, of Nija going over to Texas Tech. Is that going to result like in a Women's College World Series appearance? Like, is that going to result in a national championship? Like, I'd love to see if like these big investments of like just one person actually come to fruition, if like we think it's going to be worth it, especially like new coach and just all the things. Like, I'm really interested in that. And then obviously I'm just super excited about the Gators and what they're going to be able to do. Always going to have so much bias there. Can't wait to watch them and cheer them on. And yeah, that's probably what I'm most excited for. Oh, I'm excited to see some young guns of Oklahoma kind of step into some roles that so many big dogs have held for a long
Sure.
time. Who's going to be the next Tiara, Jada, Kinsey Hansen, so many people that have left their program that were staples there for a long time. So I'm excited to see Oklahoma rebound and like see who's going to be the next it girl for them.
Great storylines coming up in 2025. Can't wait for it to get going there, and I can't wait to hear your voice talking softball there. Of course, you did an awesome job this year at D1 Softball Podcast with Jenna, so we'll continue to have you talk to you about softball as the year gets closer. And hey, once again, congrats on the
Thank you.
championship. I drafted you, by the way, personally, in our me and Victor did a AU fantasy draft. I picked you number one overall, and I won. I beat Vic. Vic knew he was in trouble when I took you. He sends his congrats as well.
Thank
But
you.
I did take you number one. But yeah, well deserved.
Thank you.
Congrats on the success there. Enjoy the 5 minutes you're gonna give yourself off.
Thank you.
I know you there, and thanks for always being there for us and for everything you've done for the game. And we'll talk soon, bud.
Thank you.